So with our lovely Miss M, so we have Maya and Gracie, and they live together. So they're both mixes. Good guesses, always an option. So with our two ladies, we have been dealing, again, this is their very first day. They're both a little bit anxious type of girls. So we've been building up a little bit of comfort around the environment. As you guys know, one of my favorites is, again, these Find It's. Great way for the puppy to diffuse some energy and get some comfort built up while also doing something simple. So a lot of times going and asking your puppy to be stationary or asking for sits or downs or checking in with you when they're feeling nervous, that can be a little bit counterproductive at times, because then we might start to pair the spookiness with having to do a certain behavior like a stay or a check-in, like eye contact, and maybe it's just too hard of a setup for the babes to be successful. So right now with Miss M, I'm just getting her up and wiggling. Her sister is just across the way behind the little fenced-in zone. She's hanging out with my son. So today, because it's, again, school vacation, I have both my littles today, so my 4-year-old daughter and my 8-year-old son. They may help out as well throughout the day with some practice. So obviously you can see with Miss M, there are some stress signals being thrown out there. So, but Miss M is still feeling pretty cozy, where she's like, love it when they fall out of the mouth and they get to eat them again. Doubled snack. So for Miss M, I'm trying to get her comfortable by getting her up and wiggling, trying to release some of those happy chemicals. So again, she's getting a little bit more serotonin and dopamine, being released through the food and through the play. Nice job, cuteness. So right now we're just doing a little bit with this movement to get her up and wiggling. Oh my goodness, wild lady. So when you're first trying anything, if your babes are feeling frazzled, overwhelmed, too excited, remember that their ability to function or think will also be probably out of the window. So we will want to make sure that when we're first starting off with our ladies is that we're working them under their threshold. So I know at times our other little Miss G can be a little bit more sensitive for textures, and what I mean by that is surfaces. I know you had mentioned she actually slipped and she has a patella that fluxes or kind of moves out of place, flexes. So sometimes with something like that, it can also obviously affect behavior. So if she's already very sort of sensitive for certain things, and now at times the scary is then paired with the ow, we do want to take into consideration how those things work together and how sometimes they can set you back. So just things to make sure that you've discussed with the vet that she's on pain management if needed, and that if she needs extra support with maybe supplements, I'm not sure of her exact medical condition. So, but those would be things I would check with your veterinarian just to make sure. With Miss M, obviously, we're not dealing with a medical issue, which is great. But remember that a lot of times behavior is very much so connected to how your dog is feeling, both, again, physically, but also at times mentally. So we warmed up again with some of these beautiful Find It's. There have been some funny noises in the building from my neighbors. So perfectly fine. It is a building that has different businesses. But I know for some of the girls in here, they're a little bit more sensitive to those different sounds. So we were just practicing a little bit, getting the ladies up and wiggling, getting them cozy. So for working with that loose leash walking, I do love to practice with Miss M, just like I've done with a few other friends, is to feed anytime the pup is near my side, be it left or right. So you can also make this into a game where, let's say she's by your side, you toss a snack away, see if your beauty can come and reorient back to you. Yes. And this would again be the beginning stages of working those lovely recalls, working with focus work on you, getting your girls to work a little bit softer on leash. Yes, Hippo. Yeah, you can sit over there. No, you're okay. So Ebba was just wondering if she could go do something. Ebba, just go towards the fence at the edge, please. So ready? Maya. Yes. So right there, beautiful name recognition. My little one was just wondering if she could move from one area to another spot within the center. Ready? Find it. So with our lovely Miss M, we're just warming up with this orientation back to the handler, getting her to check in and do some focus work. Oren, my lovey, he's opening the door for you. He's getting it for you. Can you help her with the door real quick, please? Maya. Yes. So sorry. Of course, normal distractions in the world. So for this lovely lady, we would practice this reorientation back to us but then we can start to practice a bit with that loose leash walking. So again, it doesn't matter if you prefer left or right, but I would make it where being near you has value, and you start to build in that maybe you prefer the left or the right. No, you can say hi to her. That's fine. That's Gracie. Gracie says she likes you bunches. She does have some saliva. Ready? Maya. Nice. Her name recognition, by the way, is splendid. So with your lovely ladies, if there's going to be moments where, let's say, for example, the environment's going to be too stimulating, make sure to sometimes lower the criteria so that way you're helping your girls set goals that are attainable for them as well as us. So if there's certain things you don't love, what would you rather? Or how could you maybe manage the environment so that way her only option is success? I know you mentioned that at times she's a little bit overwhelming for her other sister at times, where she will kind of just bump her out of the way. So I would recommend make training sessions where at times you're working each girl individually. And then at times, if let's say your partner is around, or if you have the ability to set up a baby gate and you can work each girl a little bit even inside the home, but independently while they're doing something else on the back burner. So like right now, I have the girls separated, but there's an exercise pen between the two. And then that way I can work one girl and then switch and then work the other lovely lady. So Miss M's just getting a quick little drink. 2, Miss M at times is really, really gentle with how she's taking her food. Other times when she goes to grab for the snack, she's actually biting down a little bit harder, which means that we're dealing with a little bit more of that anxiety or over arousal. But there's more moments right there where she's feeling some big emotions. So yes, nice job. So my positive interrupter, just to regain my lovely lady's attention. Ready? And we're going to try and work a little bit back to that loose leash walking. But remember, think about the way they're taking their food at times as a barometer. So if you're finding she's a little bit too wild and she's taking her food a little harder, use an open palm in the beginning. So that way while you're practicing, you're not at all feeding for when she's nibbling your hand. But what is it, my lovey? She's just saying hello. She's very gentle. Okay. Did you want to go back out or what do you want to do? Okay. So my little wild woman's very indecisive right here. Yes. So beautiful job for our little Miss M. So again, I don't mind if she orients to the left or the right. The main goal right now is just building up this lovely moment where being attentive to you for a few moments is what you're looking for. So remember you're looking for little glimmers of the behavior. It may not be that the whole entire time do you get that skill. So what I mean by that is if you wanted to work on loose leash walking, you can't have loose leash walking be something you do, for example, like 20 to 30 minutes at a time. It might be too long of a duration to get your puppy to feel comfortable working that time frame. So you may find, okay, we're going to do like 5 minutes of doing some little practice. We'll do a little bit of loose leash walking thrown in. And then what you'll end up doing is maybe you do a little bit with a sniffy walk. So you allow for some decompression, some great sniff moments, dog time, which is again very important for the girls. And then that way, as they're getting comfortable doing that, then you can go ahead and rein them back in and see if you can get a little bit with that focus work back on you. So ready? Nice, Miss M. Good job. So we're just doing a little bit with that positive interrupter. At times we're doing a little bit with that name recognition. Oh, find it. Sometimes we are throwing out a couple little find its to get her to go move away. And then from there, Maya. Yes, good job. So again, we can rotate. This way it kind of keeps it a lot more engaging for her. What a good job. And then she can get a little bit of energy out, which at times, if your pup has a lot of oomph, sometimes slowing it down can be hard for them. So what I find beneficial is to work a couple little smaller skills and then throw in some movement behaviors and then rotate through focus work on you versus the environment. Ready? Nice, right here. So if I lose her, back to the side. So I sometimes also use my hand as my visual cue, or visual target, for the pup to hone in on. Then as she's getting more comfortable, my hand might go closer up to my chest or my belly to get this little eye gaze back up towards me. Yes, nice job, cuteness. Yeah. Oh, very nice, Ebba. So again, Miss M is doing a really nice job with some of these beginning stages of some of these lovely skills. I know she did come to class and so did her sister at some point. So this is where what we're wanting to do for our ladies is refine or build up some confidence and some new little skill sets here and there too. Ready? Find it. So but maybe we'll give our lovely little Miss M a little breather, and then we'll work a few more skills as well. Nice job, cuteness. Ready? Maya. Nice job. So if she's, again, getting very comfortable with some of these lovely bad boys, we'll rotate. She's like, watch this dance move. She's very good with her wild woman dance. But then we'll give her a little breather, and we'll do a few more things.